Parents or guardians have the power to ignite the magic of compounding for their kids by establishing a custodial IRA, sometimes referred to as a Kiddie IRA. Now, this is an individual retirement account that a custodian, who's usually a parent, can open as soon as the child has earned income. Now, there's no age that is too young to have earned income. For example, some elementary age children work for their parents' business. They model or they act. Now, there are contribution limits. For example, for folks under the age of 50 in 2021, those folks can only contribute the lesser of $6,000 or your taxable income. There are also income limits to investing in a Roth IRA, starting at around $144,000 a year. So you should probably consult a tax expert if your child is raking in that kind of cash. I'm not finished sharing the benefits of a Kiddie Roth IRA. There are significant benefits for contributing for children who plan to go to college and are eligible for need-based federal aid. All colleges and universities require you to complete a FAFSA to receive financial aid. As of 2021, the FAFSA formula considers 20% of a child's accounts, such as checking or savings, brokerage accounts, as available money to pay for college. The formula also considers a maximum of 5.64% of a parent's asset, such as checking accounts, savings accounts, and 529 balances as money available to pay for college. So yeah, you heard that correctly. Students are punished for saving money at 4 times the rate as the parent or guardian. But there's a way around this. Retirement savings, such as money saved in a Kiddie IRA, will not affect your federal financial aid. You heard that correctly. This is important because money saved that was contributed to a Kiddie or regular Roth IRA can still be used for college, even though it doesn't count against the child when filing to receive need-based federal aid. There are a couple great ways to illustrate the power and magic of compounding to teens. The first way I'm going to show you now using this infographic where we're comparing 2 scenarios that are realistic. And the other is by using a compound interest calculator, which we'll get to next. As for this infographic that's been created just for this circumstance, Desiree and Andy are the characters that are used to illustrate the importance of investing when you're young. Desiree and Andy each invest through a Roth IRA, or in Desiree's case, she begins when she's young. So it's a custodial IRA for 20 years. And they both earn the market average of 8%. Neither incur fees because they invested in no-fee index funds. This is where there's some differences. Desiree decides that she's going to begin at 15. And she's going to invest $208 a month for 20 years, which is $50,000. Whereas Andy decides to wait until he's middle age, which a lot of Americans do. He begins at 45, but he invests twice as much, $416. So as you can see here, what ends up happening is because Desiree's investments have so much more time to compound, that she ends up with over $1 million, which is significantly more than what Andy ends up with. Stress to your kids: start when you're young. You can always earn more money, but you can't get time back. So as I said, there are 2 great ways to illustrate to teens the power of compounding. The second way is the compound interest calculator. So embedded in my article is this calculator from the investor.gov, the SEC website. So we're going to assume the same circumstances that we showed in the infographic, where somebody, in this case, it would have been Desiree, begins to invest when she's 15 years old. So I simply put $1 in as an initial investment. And then after that, I enter that I will be contributing $208 a month. Now, one difference is that rather than stopping after 20 years, I decided to put in that she would continue to invest that amount of money for all 50 years, and also included the rate of return, which is 8%. And what's so powerful for kids to see is that by starting when you're young, that the red line, which represents the principal and the growth, that those returns compound, and those compounds are significant when you add time to the equation. There are significant long-term tax benefits to contributing to a Kiddie Roth IRA. As of 2022, the standard deduction for filing your tax return as a single filer is $12,950, which means you do not pay federal income tax on the first $12,950, assuming you either file a return to recuperate federal withholdings or you choose not to have taxes withheld when completing the W-4. Now, most students won't earn more than the standard deduction. If they do, so little will be taxed because they don't make very much. So what this means for most children who invest in a Kiddie IRA is that they won't pay tax on the income contributed to a Roth. Tax is not paid on the growth, and tax is not paid on qualified withdrawals. Now, to remain unbiased, I've chosen not to promote specific financial institutions. However, if you are seeking a place to open an account for your child, be sure to inquire about the fees associated with the account and the investments. There are opportunities to avoid fees altogether or keep them at an absolute minimum. This is important because not only do returns compound, so do fees.